I've just said to my friends, I look like I'm a fortune teller. I've got like a headscarf on with my background.
Well, thanks for doing this.
Okay.
It's been really. I've done a few so far, and it's been really nice. It's nice to kind of speak to the people, and sort of like so far I've spoke to 2 photographers. So yeah, it's nice to kind of get a makeup artist's point of view as well.
Yeah.
And then I'll be speaking to sort of models and stylists as well.
Sorry, I know the 2 photographers you've spoken to.
Oh yeah, Erica and DJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're both really nice, and it was really good. It's I mean, from my side as well, I think it was nice because again, a lot of the time you don't get to kind of find out a lot of people's, like, sort of, especially photographers, their side of the work and all that sort of stuff as well. So it's nice to kind of sit down and have a chat about it.
I mean, it is quite a small world, especially in Manchester. There's like everybody sort of knows each other, but you only know people from Instagram, I suppose. So
Yeah. Well, it's the same with, I mean, because we shot recently, like a few weeks back, we did the Ape sign. But the same, I'd seen loads of your work on Instagram and all that, and then that was the first time we actually shot together as well. So it is weird sometimes. You don't see people for ages, but you see a lot of their work.
There's loads of people that I follow that I've never met in real life, but kind of feel like I know them because I follow the work.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the thing nowadays. Yeah, it's a lot easier to sort of see access to people's work and constant updates of how they're doing and all that. But yeah, no, I just wanted to get started with from your side, just to kind of have a little delve in and sort of how you got started with how long you've been doing makeup and how you got started with it.
I'm only quite new to makeup, which I think surprises people because I'm not young. But I had a completely different career for about 10 years. I used to work for social services, looking after teenagers in care.
Mm-hmm.
Worked in various different projects around Merseyside, lots of hostels, children's homes, private companies, and for like the council as well. And I loved it. I loved it for the time that I was doing it, but I've always been creative. My strongest subjects in school were art, English, drama, design, those kinds of subjects. And I kind of fell into a different career path. I'm not really sure why. I just went in that direction. And then it was coming up to my 30th birthday, and I thought, if I don't leave now, I'm probably going to be stuck doing this job. Not that I hated it, but I felt like there was something else.
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of weighing up different creative options, and someone said to me, you should do makeup. You've got like a really good eye for colour, and you're quite in with like designs and things like that. So yeah, that was it. I just went and I applied for a course. It was initially, I think, about an 8-week course, something really basic. And I just picked it up really quick. And that was it then. I was like, I should have been doing this all along. And I kind of regretted that I didn't do it sooner, but I was glad that I did it in the end.
Yeah.
So
where was the course at?
It was in Knowsley Village, which is like Liverpool way. Just a small little college. Not that many. There was about 5 of us on the course. And then there was like a second course to go on. So I went on that. But before I'd even finished the course, I'd set up a business called Makeup by Andrea, and I'd already started taking on clients. And it just went from there. I always knew I wanted to sort of delve into more fashion and editorial side of things, but I didn't really know how. And that's why I went to Cassie Lomas Academy in Manchester, because that's more like a fashion-based makeup school.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that course, which is for 9 months, and it's sort of like the equivalent of a makeup artist degree. It's a really high-level qualification, and that sort of set me on the path then of doing more fashion shoots, editorials, and I suppose my style of work now.
Yeah. So when you were doing that, when you're on the course for that, did they direct you into sort of how to get into sort of like with the paid work for it and everything?
They did, but I'd already kind of started before I went there, because I did a fashion show. It was just a charity fashion show. And I met a photographer, and they were like, oh, I've got this shoot coming up next week. After I've seen your makeup, do you want to come and do this shoot? And then I did that shoot. And then they introduced me to a model who then introduced me to, and that's kind of how it went then. It just started networking. And I think that's probably the best way to get involved with shoots and the more fashion side of things. It's just getting your name out there and bugging people a little bit, saying, can I test with you? Can, I come and watch what you're doing or assist you? And that's what I did for a while, just until I'd got to know a few people. And then obviously things started coming in then, because I'd got to know people. And once I got on the course, I'd sort of then refined things a little bit, because I was just saying yes to anything and everything, because I just wanted to do everything. And I didn't really kind of have any kind of, there wasn't no consistency in my portfolio. And the lady that runs it, Cassie, she's amazing. She's been doing it for about 20 years. She's done like Lady Gaga's makeup and some of the big supermodels. She worked in London around the 90s, and she's got a lot of experience. So she sort of sat me down, went through my images. It was a little bit harsh. She was to the point, and just said, you're a little bit all over the place, and you're kind of just saying yes to everything, and you've got to really start marketing your portfolio for what kinds of work you want. And then that's when I started to really sort of take an interest in my Instagram and what images I was putting on there. And, I always post in 3, and I kind of, not a strict theme, but I like things to look like it's planned a little bit into it, which I did, and I was just literally doing anything.
So when you spoke to, did you say that was your tutor on the course?
Yeah, the academy, and then there's different teachers, specialists that come in and teach you different things. So there was like a lady who works in film and TV, so we had film and TV days, and then there was people who worked in like e-com and did very glam makeup. They came in and showed us different things. We had hair as well, hair course, and over the course of 9 months we just covered everything. So like period makeup, modern makeup, fashion show makeup, any kinds of makeup, we covered it, special effects as well. So it was a really big learning curve, and I think it solidified that I'd made the right choice as well, because I kind of just picked it up. It seemed natural. It seemed like it was something that I'd always done when I hadn't been doing it for that long.
Yeah. So when you started to sit down and go through your, like say you were shooting like loads, like kind of working with people loads and all that, when you kind of sat down and went through, and she was saying in homing in, was it a certain style of what you do, or was it a certain area of say like you're on about fashion, but a type of fashion, or it was more just homing on?
More just telling me to take a bit more thought in things. So what photographers I was working with, and was that going to be beneficial to my portfolio? And if it wasn't, why was I doing it? And telling me the right people to sort of gravitate towards and to reach out to. And with things like, you see shoots and editorials, making sure that I'd put a lot of thought into it before I went to the shoot. So I had ideas of themes, and I had mood boards prepared, and just to make my work look a bit more refined, rather than just, I just want to do a lilac eye look, so I'm going to go and shoot a lilac eye look. Why do I want to do that? And what obviously you want to do that. So she just taught me really to think about things.
Yeah. So with your because that's what I was going to ask you next. Well, with your, when you're sourcing stuff like now and back then as well for your inspo, is it like, how do you source it? How do you find it? Is it just through like other shoots? I know you say you use Instagram a lot and all that. Is it just through other shoots and other inspiration from that?
I mean, Instagram's great, but you don't want to sort of always just look at what someone else has done and try and replicate that. So I will look, I've got like a big book of old Vogue covers. I've got loads of magazines that I keep stored. I buy fashion books. I buy books from like key iconic makeup artists like Kevin Aquan, who was working, 80s, 90s, and I'll think of things that he maybe did and bring it in like a bit of a more modern twist. Instagram plays a big part, because obviously I'm scrolling all the time, so I'll see something and I'll save it. I've got loads of saved pictures, and then there's which is addictive. You can sit on things, but it could just be something like the background behind me. the colours, the patterns, things like that, that will make me think, oh, I'd quite like to do something with a monochrome look.
Yeah.
So, it could be anything really. Like I say, I do read a lot of magazines, I read a lot of books, and I always have growing up. I've always been into like art and loved going to art galleries and museums and things like that. So I think it's just you absorb everything from around your environment, don't you?
Yeah.
Even TV programs like Euphoria was really big because that started a trend in like these really like fantasy glitter eye makeup looks and things, and it's just culture, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, you find it just kind of, if you gather it from so many different things, it just goes in, and then like you say, you could be working on one thing and then just something pops in your head from something you've seen a while ago from so many different things.
Yeah, like I say, when I first started out, it was very much just, everybody is doing that kind of eye makeup. I want to try and do that kind of eye makeup. And I maybe tried out a few different styles that weren't really me. And then as time's gone on, and even now still I'm kind of developing what it is that is my style. I know that I really like skin. I like clean skin. I like beauty. I like things to look a bit more natural maybe than the sort of e-com Instagram looks, although I can do those as well. But I think my kind of what I really enjoy doing is like fresh beauty looks. So something that I'm always on the lookout for opportunities where I can do that style of work.
Yeah.
Let's get paid for doing something that you enjoy.
Yeah. But it's a bonus. I think you mentioned you mentioned a lot about like sort of color as well in a lot of your work, and I mean that's one of the things I was going to mention as we go through some of the images, especially with some of the ones I've chosen. There's quite a bit of like color in some of them.
Yeah.
But when you're so say when there's a shoot coming up, or you're planning if it's for a test or something, so is there much interaction between say like you and the photographer when it's like planning it? Is there quite a bit of like back and forth and then going through ideas, or how does that work?
No, definitely. It's a collaborative effort. So, I might send over some makeup looks that I like and some colour schemes up, and then the photographer will send over some posing styles or some lighting effects. And again, if you've got like a stylist and a hairstylist and there's a whole team, then everyone's got their own ideas. So it's just sort of, melting all the ideas into one. And I like that with people. I like working with other people rather than it just being all my own idea, because you learn from something that I might think would look good. Actually, I was talking about this with a photographer because she asked me, do I mind the photographer suggesting something, like changing my idea a little bit and saying, well, I think it would be better if you did that. And no, I don't mind that at all, because they might see something that I'm not seeing. And if, someone's got a different point of view, and then I could think, actually, yeah, that would look a lot better than what I had. So it wouldn't offend me in the slightest, because it's good to communicate. It's good to share ideas, I suppose.
Yeah, that's really interesting, because I think definitely from my side, I'm always like that bit when you were shooting something, you got your team. But sometimes I do get that feeling like where I feel like, oh, should I say if like want to change it a little bit stuff. But like I said, I think most people they'll be open to sort of, if it helps for the whole for the image to come together. I think you do, from everyone's side, you do need that to be open.
Again, a different point of view, because you're seeing it with your lighting and what you see on camera and things, which I can't see because I don't have those skills. So you would know what would look better on camera. So I wouldn't be offended at all if someone said, well, maybe you should try this, or lessen that, or make that stand out more, and that would make the image pop. I think it's better than everyone going away and the image is okay, but it could have been better. Whereas I prefer it if someone suggests something and then you're like, yeah, that's the image.
Yeah. Well, that's what it is. That's what I mean, especially when you've got a shoot, and if there's about 5 of you, like say you've got the makeup artist, you've got the photographer, you've got the stylist, you've got the model. I think it is a case of bringing together everyone's sort of expertise in their area.
It's difficult because there can be a clash of personalities, or some a little bit shy and might not be able to speak up. I've been in situations where I've maybe thought, oh, wish we could do this, but especially early on when I didn't have any experience of shooting at all, I wouldn't have said anything at all. But now I think I'd be more inclined to say, oh, hang on, can I just jump in and change that? Or I think that doesn't look quite right, let me see. So experience as well, isn't it? And a bit of confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that's a very good point. I think like I say, that's something that it comes in time as well. I think the more you do with experience, and like I say, then you build up that confidence to be able to sort of, like I say, jump in and give your opinion. And that's what you want really on a shoot. You want everyone to be able to bring their side.
Yeah, no, definitely. The photographer is Vera that I was talking, Vera Chain. She's a beauty photographer, and it was because we'd done a shoot and I had this idea of using a backdrop that had it was like a plant themed shoot, and I had an idea of using this backdrop with plants on it, with the model in front and then plants in front, and she just said no. It's not going to work and it doesn't look good, so she removed it, and then we carried on with the shoot, and the images that we got back were amazing, and if we'd have gone with my idea they wouldn't have looked like that. So I was glad that she stepped in and said something doesn't look right, because I couldn't see it. I was just like, yeah, plants on plants, and it just didn't work. And it was much better when we stripped it back and the image was a bit just more it was more focused just on the model. Yeah,
well, it does help, like saying it's the confidence to kind of to speak, and even that sometimes, like saying no and being like, oh no, I feel like this would work this way. I think there can be that urge sometimes to kind of to try and keep everyone happy, but I think definitely getting your expertise across and your opinion, it can help. And that, even if it means sometimes saying no, I don't think that will work, I think this works better.
Yeah, even sometimes, like if it's someone waiting to jump in and like fix hairs or whatever, it's always good if someone says, oh, can you just come in and sort that out, because it's easier, especially for a photographer, to fix something in the flesh, isn't it, rather than trying to change it with prop. So yeah, but like I say, it's a learning curve, and I definitely wouldn't have been confident enough a couple of years ago when I first started doing shoots to what I am now, where I'd say, oh, actually, can I just do that? So, and I think it's feeling comfortable with the people that you're working with as well. And that's, if you're choosing, like, it's a collab, it's just something that you do for, all your portfolios, the people that you choose for that team, it's really important, because you've got to be comfortable enough with them to really say how you feel.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, because you want something that you're all happy with at the end of the day. So yeah, you want to work with people that you do feel comfortable with.
Everyone on a shoot where they've come away and they've thought, maybe work the day or whatever that I've spent on it, when it's been a collab and you've maybe not been as happy with the images that you get back and thought it could have been better. So now, obviously, that's what I was saying, where Cassie kind of said, be a bit more careful with what you're doing and, who you're choosing to work with and the images, and just make sure that it's something you're proud of. You're really proud of an image. If it's going in your portfolio, you want it to be good work, your best work. So now I'm much more conscious of who I'm going to be working with and what's going to be the end product.
Super, absolutely. Well, we can dive into some of your work if you want. We can go into the so we start picking it apart. So yeah, I've got the first image up here, which should be, let me just get that. That should be the one. Is it Amy Smith? Is that the model's name? And
yeah, from Giselle.
Yeah, and Andy Park was the photographer.
Yeah.
So so this is one, like we was talking about colour and stuff. And I mean, this one, when I was going through and making some of the selects and all that, this one really jumps out. What was the kind of idea behind the shoot, behind the look?
Well, to be honest, that was kind of driven by me, because I'd shot with Amy on another shoot with Erica, actually, and a lot of the close-up images we were getting, I just thought you'd be so beautiful for a beauty shoot. You've got these amazing features, these big eyes, big lips, really clear, nice skin. so I knew that I wanted to shoot some beauty with her. So I'd spoken to her if she wanted to, and then an opportunity became available where Andy wanted to shoot some beauty, and my ideas fit with his ideas. I sort of had this colour scheme, and I showed him some images of like poses and how I expected it to look, the final image. And yeah, we both liked the idea, and then obviously Amy liked the idea. And I think, if I remember rightly, it was just sort of colours at first, and then I went onto Pinterest and I found some makeup looks that sort of were along the same lines. I knew I wanted to do something graphic again because she had that nice eye space, and just from the colours that I had when she was in front of me, just sort of free-handed. So that was just sort of on the spot. I hadn't planned exactly the look that I was going to do. I just knew that I wanted it to be graphic and which colours that I wanted to use.
So so you knew about the colours beforehand, because obviously you've got the background matching, say, like the eye shadow. So there was that was Andy, yeah. So there were certain bits that were kind of planned before, and then when you got there, it was kind of going with it.
Yeah. So it was just sort of a general feel of what we wanted the images to look like and the colours that I wanted to use. And then once I was there, I just sort of drew that freehand. And then we were looking at different colour backdrops, and Andy had like a few different colours to choose from. And I think we tried out a couple of different ones, maybe a deeper red and a lighter colour, and it just popped so much with that colour that we were like, yeah, we'll go with that one. And maybe Andy might have even deepened the background, I think, in post-production. So it really did make the image pop.
Yeah. Well, no, another thing with the image as well, because I know you're saying about then as looking through before it and then talking about looking at ideas for like poses and that. And I think one of the things as well is the pose as well. Was that something when you're there shooting again? Because I mean, it's drawing everything into the face and the focus again on a face. Is that something that while you're there, is it something that just naturally happens? Sometimes it does, or is it something that was one of the bits of inspo you've seen, something like that?
I think that was some of the pictures that I'd found on Pinterest. It was sort of that style with similar lighting and posing and things. But then Andy is very thorough with things, so he'll try lots of different lighting styles and like shoot from below and above, and try lots of different things to get what will look the best. And he's got like a big massive screen to see images really like close up and know whether it's working or not. And then all together picked which setup that we like the best.
So that was something you kind of narrowed it down to some certain angles, some setups and that. And then as you're shooting that, did you know again like that with that kind of crop and that you kind of, we know we've got it, that's what we want?
Most of like the crop and everything, that's all Andy. But before we got the images back, we sat and looked through the computer and chose which were the strongest ones, and he showed us what they would look like cropped. So yeah, that was his idea, to crop him.
Okay. And how long does a look like that take to do when you're setting up?
I think that was quite quick. I think I remember Andy saying that it was quite quick because we did quite a few looks, and I think that was more towards the end, I'm sure. I can't remember now. Memory's not that good. But I think she already had the base on, so it was just a matter of drawing the eye on. Okay. So it take that long, even though it sort of looks quite fiddly and everything, it just flows. So it's quick. It's quite quick to do something like that.
Super. Well, we can move on to the next image, which again is another one with like saying the colours, the one with Antonina.
She's like my favourite.
Yeah, well, I've seen you've shot with her quite a few times. I mean, does that help us? I mean, surely it does help us, like we've got that relationship.
You already kind of, from a makeup artist point of view, it helps because I already know her face shape, her skin tone, her skin texture. So I'm already a little bit prepared before I go to the shoot. And then obviously if you've got a good relationship, then yeah, it makes the day flow and it's nice. And that was Stefan Small, wasn't it? With the picture that you
Yeah,
looked.
yeah, it was with Stefan, and then yeah, she's wearing the she's wearing the Edjo Beyond lingerie as well. Was that for the brand, or was that something that
Yeah, that's to Stefan, so it was already pre-planned. And then he brought in, I don't know what happened. I got brought in later, so I think he brought on Nina, and then she contacted me, and then again we all sort of messaged each other to sort of say what the mood was. And then again, that was like a little bit of freehand. It's not like a graphic look or anything. It was just a very soft look, and that's what they wanted. That was the effect.
Yeah. Well, do you prefer as well, like with the makeup like that, do you prefer it softer, especially doing like lingerie and underwear stuff? Do you prefer it a softer look? Because I know some people go a bit more glammy, but
You dial it up a little bit more, it sort of goes into like a glamour area. It's like a different feel. Whereas if it's really soft and it's nice, and it's more of an editorial vibe. And I think that did get, I think that was in Rasua mag, or it was in some magazine anyway. So it gives it sort of a higher end feel, I think.
And with the again the saying like about the colours, well, what with the eyeshadow again, I mean, it's matching like the outfit, the background. Is that something when you're there and you do it?
I think I've got a little bit of a tendency to do that. Again, I'm quite good at colour matching, so like I pick up a colour and I'll know already what's in my kit that sort of matches that colour. And I just felt like I like that kind of monochromatic look where everything's matching, and especially the background and everything. There's the same kind of tones in everything. I think that almost gives it like a vintagey feel, like a film feel. Just like that soft effect.
Yeah. And is that something, so you just kind of, do you do that? I mean, I like it. It really complements the sort of the whole the image in general, I think, together. And I think is that something you do, say, as you sort of get there on a shoot, you find yourself just almost like subconsciously doing, you noticing colors around the room and the backdrops and everything?
Yeah, definitely a subconscious thing. It just happens. It must just be my eyes picked up a color and instantly I'm drawn to something in a palette that is a similar tone. I mean, it's not always the case. Sometimes there's clashing colors, which I love doing as well. But something like that, which is soft and pretty, I always find that bringing colors through, it really helps bring everything together.
And what was it like working with Stefan? Have you worked with him a few times before as well?
Yeah, I've worked with him a few times now. I'm working with him again on Friday. He's amazing. He's so talented, like really, really talented. And I think he's got a very distinct style that I've not seen many other people kind of replicate. He sort of stands out. So yeah, I really like working with him. And again, it's nice when you've got just a nice, friendly working relationship. And all three of us kind of get on quite well. So it's always a comfortable shoot. I don't feel kind of like, any nerves or on edge, because you feel you kind of know people a little bit.
And when you're shooting with them, again, is that something you're saying about when you can kind of jump in and you just feel like you can, if you need to, just do your thing?
Definitely, because I've done Nina's makeup a few times now, she sort of trusts me a little bit. So, I think she wouldn't be, sometimes people, if they've never met you or whatever, they could be constantly like wanting to check in the mirror, because they're not quite sure what you're going to do. But because if you've done someone's makeup a few times, they're like, yeah, okay, I kind of trust you. You go ahead and do what you think looks good.
Yeah.
She obviously inspiration, and we all looked at inspiration, but she wasn't, there every 5 minutes saying, oh, can I check what you're doing now? It just was, I know what you're doing, so carry on, do it.
Yeah, you've got that confidence in each other.
Just, completely laid back. It's like, yeah, just get on with it, and then happy with the end result.
Yeah. So, so do you feel like you have? Do you feel you have like a certain style, a certain go-to look?
I think probably. I mean, I do cover quite a few different avenues with makeup because I think you have to. I'm not based in London, so I couldn't purely do editorial work. I'm not agency represented, so I couldn't say to them, which jobs I wanted to go for, or they wouldn't pitch me for certain jobs. So you can't, if you're freelance, you've got to go for whichever jobs are available. So you kind of got to be able to do an array of different styles. But I suppose my style, if anything, would be quite soft, and I think I like enhancing features rather than completely covering them up or transforming somebody. I always like to, for some people it might be they've got the most beautiful eyes, or for some people they've got amazing lips, and I'll mainly draw attention to that area and kind of keep it softer. Yeah, I'd say soft is probably my style of makeup. I like nice skin work. I like people to look like they're glowing from within.
And what was it? So I know you do like wedding, like bride stuff as well.
Apart from last year.
yeah, a bit of a quiet one.
The weddings last year.
Yeah, but with the fashion stuff, why? So why? I mean, we spoke a bit about it at the start, but why do you feel like you were drawn with the makeup? Why do you feel like you were drawn to the fashion side of things?
I think probably because I prefer a softer style of makeup, and if you're going to go down purely the glam ecom look, you kind of stuck with a certain style. And I like I say, my inspiration is like fashion magazines, fashion shows, and sort of cultural things. So with fashion, you've got a little bit more creativity, I suppose. And it's just the style of makeup that I think is most flattering. So I'm instantly drawn to that. And kind of when you start out as a makeup artist, you generally start out like maybe working in a salon or taking weekend appointments and like weddings and things like that, which I still love doing. I love my weddings, but I was never that inspired by doing weekend makeup or just doing, the lady from down the road's makeup. I always knew I wanted to be part of something else. Like I see images, the most amazing images in these magazines, like obviously Vogue, Harper's Bazaar, Elle, and things like that. And you just look at those and you think, yeah, I want a piece of that. I want to be part of something that could produce something as beautiful as those images.
Yeah.
And I've always, I've got a very individual fashion sense, but I've always loved fashion. I've always followed fashion, and the brands that I'd really love to work with, that was just the style of makeup. So yeah, that's what drew me more towards that direction than anywhere else, because I've tried special effects, I've tried all the different kinds of makeup and I like them all, but my heart would lie somewhere like fashion or editorial, probably.
Yeah, I think it's like I said as well, it's the sort of the two complement each other as well, with the makeup sort of like complementing the outfits, and that whole, we were speaking about like the whole collaborative effort as well. I think when you are doing a shoot and you've got about 5 or 6 different people and their sort of areas of expertise, I think it's a nice thing when it all comes together. I think
that's also part of it as well, like working as part of a team. So I've always had jobs where I've been, a people person basically. So I like that feeling of, even though I'm self-employed and I'm freelance, I get to work with other people. So that's a nice thing.
Do you think that's something you bring to it? I mean, like I say, from like your past experience, well, do you think that's something you bring into the makeup, sort of the makeup area, with like how you are with people and sort of like easy to get along with and that kind of thing?
So, because you've got to be able to talk to people, you've got to be able to, like say, network, and networking's a big part of it. It's not always what sometimes it's who so if you can get along with people and you can make good connections, and maybe you're not the most talented makeup artist in the world, but someone will remember the fact that you were nice to them and that you were nice to have on set, and that you had nice manners and things like that, and they'll remember you for another job that comes up because they enjoyed working with you. So sometimes it's not always the most talented people that get ahead. Sometimes it's people who just know how to work with people.
Well, that's a big part of it, definitely. So I'm going to move on to the third image, which is the one with Nicole as the model, and it's another Andy Park image.
That, if I remember rightly, that was sort of around Christmas. That picture reminds me of like Christmas Eve vibes because of like everything that's quite like sparkly and out there. That was another collaborative thing. We had a stylist, Bronwyn. We had a hairstylist, Sarah. She works for Saks, and they've got like a creative team, and she's part of a creative team. So she goes to photo shoots, she does editorial, she is a creative colorist. She's got a whole load of specialisms. So she was involved, Andy, and then we had two models. We had Nicole and Zara, who were both from J'adore, who I'd worked with separately before, but I'd not worked with together. But yeah, it's Nicole in that image.
Yeah, and that's the one. Yeah, so it's the red dress she's got. I think it's from Millia London's dresses. Yeah, it looks amazing. I mean, I've seen the ones on Zara as well, and the dresses are just amazing. And it like, were you going for the?
Sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say with the makeup, were you going for something that kind of that jumps out a bit? Because I mean, I know you got the dress with like the sort of the sequin sort of at the bottom. Were you going for the makeup that like really sort of jumps out a bit on that one?
Well, that was sort of all based around the dresses really, and wanting to do something that was like really glam, really out there. Not as soft as maybe I usually do makeup. Something a little bit different for me and a little bit different for the girls as well, because a lot of the time they're doing a lot of fashion and beauty work, which is a little bit softer and maybe not as out there and exciting and flamboyant. So once we'd sourced the team, the stylist, she'd got in touch with the dress company and they'd loan out those dresses all around the world. I think the ones that came to us had been, I can't remember, like somewhere far away anyway. So they came over to us, and yeah, it all sort of started with the dresses and wanting to create something that was like really high drama. And that sort of reminded me a bit of Lady Gaga, like some outfits that she's worn with like that mirrored vibe. So we just went all out. It was really big hairstyles, the pictures of Zara, she's got like the most amazing volume in her hair, and then that one was like really sleek and slicked back. So again, it was just a team, just all bringing different ideas in.
Yeah. So are you working a lot closely with the hairstylist when you're doing those too, or is like one kind of working with one girl and then you'd switch over? How would that work?
Yeah, I mean, I do a little bit of hairstyling, but I'm no hairdresser. I'm a session stylist. So that's not my area of expertise. So I suppose Sarah had a bit more of a free rein on what hair she wanted to do, whereas I was very much, this is the makeup that I want to do. And then there was obviously two girls, so we could swap in between, and we did like quite a few looks, and there was a few different dresses changes. So it was a little bit manic, like changing in between, and then one girl would be getting dressed, and Sarah would be doing hair touch-ups, and I'd be doing lipstick touch-ups. But again, that works really well, because if it's just the one person doing the hair and makeup, you could have people sat around waiting. Whereas if there's two of you, it works the same in weddings as well. If there's a hairstylist and a makeup artist, it's like a little bit of a conveyor belt. There's just people moving in between. So that was really that was good that there was the two of us to sort of maximize the time, really, because otherwise we'd been there all day. If it was just working away with both the girls, the hairstyles and the makeup, the shoot would have lasted twice as long. So it was really good to have that kind of team.
And can you remember how they got the shot? Because I mean, the dress is like kind of up behind her. Do you remember how that was set up?
Because I think I've still got a picture, like behind the scenes picture, because I think it was it Bronwyn or Sarah? One of them got underneath the dress and held it up. And like was just kept making it like really big as Andy was clipping away, and like we just caught the right shot and when the dress was fully up.
And her hair's off as well. Is that, I mean, is she holding? I mean, she might be holding it there because her arm's out. I think she's
holding the hair there, and then one of the girls is underneath with the dress up, and the rest of us are in front going, yeah, that looks good. No, move it a little bit to the left, bit to the right.
Well, yeah, I mean, it works. It looks great. I mean, like I say, the way the dress is literally just taking up the whole frame, the whole crop of
Yeah.
the frame as well.
And I can't remember, again, that's what I'm saying. I can't remember whose idea that was. It wasn't in any like inspo pictures we had beforehand. We just decided that it would look good if the whole dress was filling, you know, the space behind. Maybe it looked a little bit flat with just the dress, I'm not sure. But yeah, one of us was just like, yeah, just jump in and see what it looks like, filling the whole frame. And it worked. So we went with it.
Yeah, look, it looks fabulous. I'm going to move on to the last image now. So I thought I'd throw in a bit of a location one because all these studios. That's the one with Jasmine Maddox. And I thought we'll have to get one of your shoots in that you do with Erica because I've featured a lot with like you and Erica.
Half of my promise pictures with Erica.
Yeah, well, like I say, I mean, so that's something we were talking as well about with sort of when you work with like the same sort of people and that, and again, like with Erica, you've shot with a lot. I mean, what's it like? Does it just make it so much easier? You've got someone that you've worked with so many times.
Because again, we were Instagram sort of following each other first. We kind of, she liked my style of makeup, I liked her style of shooting, because we were sort of, I think we could tell we were on the same lines of in terms of what kinds of images we like. And when we started speaking, I think it was when we just first got into lockdown, and we knew that we wanted to work together, but obviously no one knew how long lockdown was going to go on for. So we never actually met in person until late summer last year, when the lockdown ended and everyone went back to work. And then from there, because everything went so well and Jadot really liked it, so they were sending us more people, and we developed a relationship with them as well. That's how we've got so many images together, just because it all just sort of clicked together, and similar styles, similar visions.
Yeah. Do you find you go through with each other as well and kind of like every so often and just sharing ideas about like sort of next things you want to shoot?
Yeah, there's a lot of that. I mean, I've got mood boards per mood board saved. You know, I've got a mood board probably for every day for the rest of my life if I really want to shoot every day, because there's always more ideas. And because we'd often find we were saving the same kinds of images, the same kinds of clothing, the same kinds of makeup styles, it would just work because we liked the same things basically. So I suppose it was more a taste thing more than anything. We had similar tastes and things, so it wasn't sort of, you know, she had this idea that, you know, I might not be on board with. We were just really both on board with each other's ideas.
And that's something that you kind of, you notice with people that you stick with working when you kind of keep shooting with certain people. It's because of that. It's because you're on the same sort of wavelength and you want to sort of create the same sort of stuff.
Yeah, because everyone's got different tastes and different vision, and you know, different areas that they specialize in, and it's nice if you come together with other creatives that have got the same sort of ideas as you, or you know, if they share something, you're like, oh my god, I really wanted to shoot something like that. So it just works and you can come together. And we had the same sort of mood boards basically. Like a lot of the time it was quite frightening that we'd say the same things, and a lot of like Erica styles a lot of the shoots as well. So like when she was choosing clothing and things, she would ask, you know, for my opinion on different things, and we found like a few times we bought the same earrings or whatever. So there was just an unspoken similarity between us, which helped. And then the image that you're talking about, I think, if I remember rightly, Erica styled that. So is there a scarf under the hat?
Yes, yeah. So so Erica's styled it, and yeah, she's got the hat on with the scarf underneath.
Yeah, and it's so like a golden hour. So we wanted something that was like really fresh skin, but I think we'd done a few looks without the eye makeup as strong, and then because we'd added the scarf and the hat, we wanted to sort of elevate the look a little bit, make it a little bit more edgy, I suppose. So we added the eye makeup and the sun came out just at the right time, and that lovely golden hour light is just so like beautiful and flattering photos, and it just sort of, it all happens at the right time, and we just caught a really nice picture. And Jasmine's got such a beautiful face, and the most beautiful hair, and yeah, it just all came together.
Was that you mentioned about, like, I mean, yeah, because I was looking at the image, you can see it looks like it's just in the evening, just as the sun's starting to go down, and you've got, let's say, the makeup like quite sort of soft with it. So was that part of the plan beforehand, like, oh yeah, we'll get it in the golden hour just as the sun's going down, and we'll have the sort of soft makeup to go with it?
I don't know if we'd planned it specifically for the golden hour. It was nice like that day. All the pictures had really nice light. We shot some in Erica's got a home studio, so we shot some, the doors open with the light pouring into the studio and just used natural light. And then when we went outside, that's as the sun was sort of coming down a little bit more, and the really nice golden tinge to the photo. There's like, if I remember rightly, the strands of like blonde hair are really quite golden. It's a nice glow. So it just happened at the right time. It was coming towards the end of the shoot, and it was like the last little thing that we were trying out, and it just worked.
Yeah, well, it's got like, I mean, you can see there's just like a little bit of wind as well, just catching a hair just at the right time as well.
I mean, you can try and replicate that. I've often been stood with like reflectors and stuff, or a hairdryer, trying to replicate the same effect, but that was just a nice gentle summer breeze, and I think that made the picture even nicer because it is natural. Yeah,
sometimes the ones that work best are when it just naturally happens.
Yeah, sort of accidents to make the best pictures. They're just the right timing.
Yeah, well, I find the same as well. Like when shooting, if it's like a bit of movement or something, sometimes it's get quite a lot of the like really good ones are just in between the movement as well. And it looks a little bit less forced. The same with the hair as well. I think if it's just naturally as it blows, it just seems to like fall into place.
Yeah, definitely. I think, yeah, the best things do happen naturally, don't they? And if you tried to get the same picture again, you could never replicate it because it just wouldn't be the same. So I mean, that's Erica that's produced that, because she's just caught something at the right time and captured it, which is the nice thing, I suppose, about being a photographer.
And so was that shot by Erica's then? Is that Erica's place?
She's got, yeah, it's like sort of, it's Manchester, but it's outside of Manchester, so there's loads of like fields and Daisy Nook, is that a place? Yeah, I'm sure that's where we've gone to loads of time. There's loads of like nice little walks, and Erica loves shooting outside. I think that's her preferred style. She likes natural light and things to look at, like you say, a little bit more natural. So yeah, that was just by Erica's.
And is there a because I think, yeah, the lights behind her, was there some kind of, was using a reflector or something just to kick a bit of light into the face, or was that just purely natural, like nothing?
The light on the day was so nice, which, you know, a lot of the times when we've shot it, the lights just come out and we're always like, oh, you know, it's just good luck that the light's hitting right. Yeah, I don't think there was anything involved, any reflectors or anything. I mean, I'm normally on reflector duty, so I don't remember holding a reflector.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I just wanted to like sort of like wrap it up and just kind of in terms of going forwards, is there any sort of looks you've got that you haven't done yet that you want to try for sort of future shoots?
Yeah, I think I'd like, for my own portfolio, I think I'd like to try different ideas that I've got saved. There's a lot of beauty looks that I want to try because I want to refine my skills, because I'm still very new at all this, so I'm still learning, you know, the ropes. And I think if it's a beauty shot and it's up close, you know, there's no room for mistakes, there's no room for errors. So I think you can learn a lot by trying to do these looks that are going to be on a big screen, and it's all about the face, so you can see exactly, you know, how you've made makeup look. So I think for my own portfolio, I'd like to explore more into beauty. I'd like to do more up close beauty shots. And then there's always ideas, there's always like pictures that I've gotten, even sometimes stuff that I've not seen and it's just in my head, and it's trying to find an image that matches the idea that's already in my head, so that I can explain to someone, you know, oh, would you like to do this, or could we try and make it look like that? So there's always stuff rattling around that I'm thinking about.
Yeah, and you do a lot of it's like sort of testing the big things. But I mean, because I know we've talked about like some coming up as well, and we've got some that we're planning. So it's like testing the sort of side. I mean, I know some people, whether it is like models, photographers made by stylists, some people don't do it as much. Some people, I mean, I love doing it. I think it's just say like in terms of connecting with people again, in terms of just sort of challenging yourself, trying new stuff, and kind of constantly developing. So it's definitely something that you, from your side as well.
I think, like I say, because I am still fairly new, so I think it challenges me to be able to really work on my skills, because otherwise, you know, I wouldn't be, you know, for whatever day, I wouldn't be painting someone's face that day. So it gets me in an environment where I'm practicing. So it's good for that, and it's good for networking, and obviously content's a big thing. You know, Instagram likes it when you're posting and that you've got stories, and you regularly updating people with what you're up to. I think people buy in now to you as much as your work. So I think if you're out and about and you've got like videos and behind the scenes, for some reason people really love behind the scenes. I can post the most beautiful edited, like perfect picture, but the one that's just me on my iPhone will get more likes. So I'm not really sure what that's about, but testing helps with things like that, because you've got content then to post.
Yeah, well, I think it's just about, yeah, it's definitely like saying, like staying on people's radar, and they want to see that you're active and sort of doing stuff. But no, but I think I know sorry, go on. Yeah,
I was going to say with the lockdown, because, you know, a lot of people haven't done that much, and, you know, you've been sat there thinking about things that you want to do, and now that everything's easing a little bit, I'm sure loads of people will be wanting to get out and update the portfolios, because they've not shot anything for a while. And even though I had quite a lot of things to post, even towards the end, I was thinking, at some point I'm going to run out here. Like, how long is this lockdown going to last? Because I'm going to have to start going back for really old pictures and throwing them up, pretending they're new. Because I don't really want to go down the whole like influencer, like I wouldn't feel comfortable sat there doing videos myself or a lot of tutorials. That's just not my thing. So I like to have other people's faces stand to paint. So then at least I've got a post.
Yeah, well, you can definitely fit. I mean, my side as well. You can feel a lot of stuff's like piling up with ideas, and I just wanted to shoot, and it's getting to that point now. But when things open up a bit more, yeah, people will you'll just get a massive surge of a lot of like new stuff coming through.
Models as well, because the agencies will actively send them out to test. They want new images in the portfolio all the time, so that they can, you know, market them better. So yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of creativity going down. I've got a feeling it's going to be really busy for a while, which is good, because it hasn't been for anyone. So it's nice as well that, you know, I'm starting to get more messages through, and people, you know, putting feelers out of, like, you know, who you might want to work with next. And that's nice as well, that you're going to start meeting new people again.
Super. Well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot to look forward to. And I mean, I know you say you're still like relatively new to it, but I've been, yeah, like really enjoying everything you've posted so far and the shoots you've done. So with all these lot coming up, I'm like really looking forward to what else we've got to come and what else we can see.
It is exciting. I'm starting to feel excited now, where for a while, you know, I think everyone was really depressed and just felt like, is this ever going to end? But now you can definitely say that things are getting better and improving. So it's just, I think a lot of people's moods are really lifted now.
Yeah. Well, it's on the up. So yeah, we'll be there soon. But yeah. But no, yeah, thank you. Thanks for taking the time to speak to me, Andrea.
I'm glad that get my phone to work when I locked myself out my laptop. So I hope this looks all right. I hope my phone cameras, it's a new phone, so the camera should be decent.
No, it's great. Well, it's all, yeah, like I say, it's all, even at the moment, it's still new ways of doing stuff and that. But I mean, surely it won't be too long before, I mean, I'm going to carry on these and then be doing them, hopefully kind of sat down in a studio or somewhere as well. So
that'd be really nice.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you gonna have, like a microphone?
Yeah, like proper interview. Like, no, but I mean, yeah, all of these. I mean, I'm still getting used to Zoom and doing all that sort of stuff as well. So Yeah.
Oh, I know it's not my thing. Like I say, I still like an actual magazine, like flipping through pages, and I'll write things down in a notebook, and like I've got a proper diary. I don't store things on my phone. So yeah, it's definitely it's new to me.
But yeah, no, yeah, enjoy the rest of the day, and like thank you so much for talking to me. It was like really nice to sort of go into some of your work.
You're welcome, and hopefully I'll see you soon.
Yeah, I'll see you soon. Thanks, Andrea.
Bye.
Bye.